Hello there, and welcome to today's episode of The Art of Feeling Better. Now, I've been doing a lot of work recently, both personally and professionally, on the concept of the power of the pause. It's probably the best piece of wisdom I can give anybody, and it takes a lot to actually put it into practice. And historically, I was very bad at it. Now I'm getting better at it. But I seem to say these words so much when I'm coaching, whether it's one-to-one coaching or mastermind group coaching or big talks. I always find myself saying these words and how important it is. And I've just been doing a workshop this morning on this particular topic. So I thought that I would bring it into a podcast because it is so relevant right now and it's so important. And people that I've worked with over the years always come back to me. The one thing that they remember is the power of the pause because it's really helped them. So I have been recording a little bit of a workshop this morning and I thought I would share it with you. It's a really good time at the moment because the world's just so difficult to navigate at the moment. And the temptation is to just, when things feel stressy, then you try to just add more stress. That's how we do it, isn't it? We get overwhelmed and then we go into trauma drive and we will distract ourselves with anything possible. We'll get into fear response where we believe that if we don't do more things, bad things are going to happen. Everybody's relying on us. There's a judgment or an expectation. Must do more, must be more, must prove more. And ironically, we don't ever move into the other space, which is actually, I need to stop. I need to pause. I need to breathe. I just need to reflect. Oh, wobbly camera then. As I looked up. Just pausing, just breathing, just being, even if just for a moment, is the most powerful medicine you can access at the moment. And guess what? It's free. So my challenge to you, while things are going a little bit crazy at the moment, is to take a little bit of time out of your day just to pause, just to breathe. And things seem a lot different, even with just 5 minutes of stepping away from whatever is going on for you and moving into that feeling. You know, when you feel like you have to run away and start to do more, just stop. Sit with that feeling for a minute and it will soon shift and become something else. So top tip for the day. And while you are pausing, I wanted to gift you something. So today's episode is going to be around you pausing in order to have a little listen and have a refocus onto where you're at right now. So my medicine wheel pathway at the moment is starting to take lovely shape on Mojo School, and the apps are going to be live very soon on iOS and Play Store. So I would like to share with you my starting point for the medicine wheel pathway. So this particular episode is going to talk you through what is going on for people right now, what is potentially going on for you, some of the sticky bits, some of the challenges you might be facing, and it will encourage you to have a think about those things and grab a pen and paper and maybe note some things down as we go. And then I'm going to talk you through the importance of the medicine wheel and the relevance right now and encourage you to create your own personal medicine wheel. And then also have a little look at your life landscape and create your very own territory map in real time with me. And then you'll be able to have a little bit more of a bird's eye view of what's going on and where you need to go next. So I hope you enjoy it. And it's going to be the start of something a little bit new for the rest of this year. I'm going to be sharing more and more tools out of my Mojo School toolkit for you and bringing in some incredible guests. As always, I have some brilliant guests lined up for the next month or so. So please stay tuned and enjoy. So, folks, why am I stuck? That's the big burning question, isn't it? And that's why we need to embark on this journey around the medicine wheel, to find the missing pieces and to bring in all of the tools and the resources and all the wisdom that we need to help ourselves feel better and live a life of passion, purpose, and well-being. So why am I stuck? Well, living in the 21st century is no easy task, my friends. Our ability as a species to create has begun to leap ahead of our capacity to adapt. We are subjected on a daily basis to subliminal messages from society about what we should want and messages from the media about who we should be. We feel it deep down in our soul that something isn't quite right, that constant feeling of unease, the relentless pressure to conform to social standards that are supposed to make us happy and content. The lack of fulfillment and inability to live with purpose, passion, and in line with our true identity. Now, if you're here now, it's highly likely that you've been on your mission to improve your life and feel better for a while now. You may have bought all the books, been on all of the trendy workshops, and have vision boards covering every surface. You're now baffled as to why things just aren't shifting for you. Am I right? Am I close? Am I in the right ballpark? Well, you're not alone and you're in the right place. If you follow my lead as an ex-self-help addict myself, I'll navigate and show you the way through all of the fluff and chatter to the root cause of your inability to shift things. So it's time for a spot of internal weeding. First up, you need to cut yourself some slack. Be proud of yourself for showing up and give yourself some kindness and compassion to where you are now. I imagine that you've been through some stuff and that you may have been putting a lot of time, energy, and money into working hard at things that you've not seen any results from yet. But don't worry, you'll be able to use all the tools that you've already gathered, all of your experiences and all of the things that you've been through so far. And if you've been on programs and courses before, if you've got books that you spent money on before, you're already halfway there and you're going to be able to use all of these tools, but to maximum effect as soon as you've weeded out those pesky, toxic roots. Right now, the first thing you need is to take a pause and reset. Take a breath. Grab a pen and a paper, and maybe put some calm focus on the magic that you're about to uncover within this program. We need to embark on a journey of discovery, an excavation and an uncovering of who we always were meant to be before the world got its hands on us. But how do we actually know what our true identity is, or what actually lights up our soul when we spend a lifetime trying to conform to what others expect us to be? We can join the 5 a.m. club and vision board like a boss, but there's no point in setting smart goals for things that you think you should want or what other people think you should want. We are humans, not machines. What we really need in order to balance us out is rest, stillness, quiet, play, and creativity. You may laugh out loud and say, well, the chance would be a fine thing, but just hear me out. This isn't a wish list. It's not a luxury or a dream that maybe one day we'll achieve when we're surrounded by our great-grandchildren. These things are actually essential for our health, and they have to start becoming a priority in our lives. We've become locked in a system where we feel that we have to be all things to all people all of the time, and that we have no other choices available to us. It's exhausting. The challenge we have is that we've been led to believe that there are no other options available to us. We are stuck in a constant treadmill loop that starts at the crack of dawn and ends when we collapse into bed at the end of the day. Well, you may catch a bit of recovery sleep, unless you're addicted to endless scrolling or your brain is too fizzy from worrying, of course. We have become accustomed to hustling, striving, ignoring and sacrificing our own needs because we believe that there is no other choice. We put on a selection of masks each day, just waiting for the moment where someone notices our struggles and comes to our rescue. Well, it's time to be your own hero. Let's remove those masks. Unlearn the harmful and distorted stuff that we think is just normal life. It's time to heal lifetimes of generational trauma and step into our next chapter with purpose and power. So if you're ready to embark on your hero's journey, grab a brew, buckle up and join me for a deep dive into shifting perspective, empowering and liberating yourself as you unlock the code of your new future. Our first step is to take a look and identify all of the labels, roles, and responsibilities that we impose on ourselves or others impose onto us. Some of these will be relevant and necessary, but many will be part of what we need to weed out and provide us with the first key to uncovering where we are misaligned and where we're leaking out our time, energy, and resources in the wrong places. We can only reclaim our power when we know where we've given it away. So, maybe some of those words have given you cause to think and pause and reflect on what you're feeling right now. Not just what you're feeling, but why you're feeling it. Maybe you've blamed yourself or felt like you're the problem for a long time now. And maybe, just maybe, you're beginning to realize that you might not be the problem. That maybe society's the problem. Maybe there are other things at play that we've just gotten used to. And with a little bit of gentle awareness, a little bit of wisdom, and building of a new toolkit, you might be able to move and navigate out of that place. And I want to let you know that you're not on your own on that journey. You have so much support and you have so many strengths and so many superpowers that you're yet to uncover. And you just maybe need a little bit of emotional and psychological safety to be able to explore that. And it's exactly what Mojo School's designed for. So as part of our program, we're going to look through all of these things in a great deal of detail. And we're going to do some really incredible, cool techniques and tools and creative interventions along the way. We're going to create our own territory map in this session, which is really exciting. And we're going to look at your Mojo Wellness Passport to help you along on your journey. But before we do that, I just want to do a little quick exercise that I do with everybody that I work with, really, whether it's an individual one-to-one session or a mastermind group or a big keynote speech or a big, boardroom or classroom or team training workshop. We always start with this process of uncovering and weeding out what's going on. And it's really important because we can't work on things if we don't actually identify what it is that's going on. And it's really important. There's lots of ways to do that. So the first thing I want to do is work out the physical things that are happening, right? So the things in your environment, in your surroundings, in your life, in your home life, in your relationships, in your working life, with your colleagues, with your children. What is going on? What's happening? And this is going to help us to build our territory map and have a look at your life landscape. But there's a little step-by-step process. So we're going to use these building blocks to start this process. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen. It can be the back of a receipt and a crayon if you like. But just do this exercise just to start to give a little bit of out of the brain and down on paper. It's a really good visual technique to start identifying things that you might not even realize are there. And I want you to just create a space on a piece of paper and throw in all of the labels that you put on yourself or others put on you. Just name down all of the words that represent you, in your opinion, from your perspective. Okay? So just spend a couple of minutes writing down things like, I don't know, mother, father, daughter, son, sibling, brother, sister, friend, chef, taxi driver, emotional punching bag. You might have all kinds of labels that are relevant to your career, to your job. You may be a pet owner. You may have a label of a carer. You may look after somebody. You may be a nurse. You may be a librarian. You may be a teacher. You may be not working. You may be traveling. You may be a free spirit. You may be a troublemaker. You may be a good girl or a good boy. You may be academic. You may be sporty. You may be creative. You may be techie. You may be stupid. You may be worthless. You may be unlovable. Let's just note down some of the labels that crop up, that are deeply seeded in your subconscious, your perceptions about you. This is the key. This is the first key that we're going to unlock to start to shift things for you. So just pay a little bit of attention, have a little think. You can keep adding to this after we've been on here today. Just keep throwing in some of the words, some of the labels that come up that represent you, the good and the bad. And this is going to give you a really good starting point to anchor onto, because we want to shift some of these around. We want to get rid of some of these labels that actually aren't relevant anymore. You didn't choose them because somebody else put them on you, maybe. Or maybe you chose a label years ago when something was going on for you because it kept you safe. And maybe it doesn't keep you safe anymore. Maybe it causes you some harm, and maybe it's time to uninstall that particular program. Maybe it's time to get rid of it. So once you've got that master list, we can start to use that really wisely as we move along our journey. Now, the whole framework around Mojo School is, of course, the medicine wheel. And this particular video is part of my medicine wheel pathway. You may be seeing it as part of a podcast. You may be seeing it as part of a program or a workshop or a course. But this is the foundational part of what makes Mojo School so magical, is that we're using really cutting edge technology here, and we're using bang up to date neuroscience and some psychotherapy tools and some somatic tools, but we're blending it together and we're integrating it with ancient wisdom. Some of the concepts that our ancestors and tribes all over the world have known and have worked with for millennia that have been lost in translation, that we've lost along the way. And particularly in the West, we're very bad at some of these things, and we tend to repress and ignore and distract ourselves from some of these very, very important concepts. And it's my role as the suburban shaman over here in the West, and I'm based over in North Wales in the UK. My role is to bridge that gap, and with the greatest of respect and love and kindness and compassion to all of our brothers and sisters all over the world, and to some incredible Indigenous spaces and tribes and places, to bring a translated version of the very ancient medicine wheel framework, which we find everywhere, and bring it up to how we may be able to integrate it here in the West. And we're going to use the same fundamental concept that the whole person, the wheel, the whole person is split into 4 main components or 4 main parts. And if we don't pay attention to and understand and balance each of those 4 parts, then we will become sick. And we have a wealth of neuroscience data and evidence to back up this claim now, which was once seen as being very new age and woo-woo. It's very grounded in science, and there's lots of movement at the moment in integrated and functional medicine, which is incredible for people like myself who've been working and practicing in these spaces for years. And the timing is definitely right for a platform such as this, which makes Mojo School really exciting. And if we take this wheel concept, I'm going to play you a short video in a second to explain it further, then we need to start planning out what our own medicine wheel looks like. And it's really good to do an individual version of a medicine wheel to see what's going on for you. And within some of the courses that I'm going to talk you through as part of this program, you'll be able to do just that. But we'll do a little basic version while we're on the workshop today. So I'm going to play a little video for you. Before I do, I want you to just draw on your piece of paper, turn it over if you need to get rid of all your labels for a second. Draw yourself a circle and split it into half and split it into quarters. And this is your very first version of your own personal medicine wheel. And again, it's another tool that we're going to use to unlock some of the things that are keeping you stuck. And on the outside of the circle, just to keep your mind on what you're doing, I want you to write 4 different words. These are the parts of yourself. So I want you to write in the first quarter, corresponds to the east as a direction. It corresponds to the element of air, and it is the mental self. So it's the mental part of yourself, intellect, mental health, this space, top down. And you have to be well, you have to be mentally well. It's an important part. As we know in recent years, mental health has become a huge buzzword, and we understand now the power and how the brain and the body connect. And many of the courses found within the medicine wheel framework at Mojo School focus on just that, the top-down approach and how to support your mental health. The next quarter I want you to move to is the direction of the north. And it's the element of earth, connects us in, grounds us, connects us to our communities and our spaces and our ancestors and to nature. And it's physical health here. So we're looking at physical health and how we nurture, look after and protect our physical health. Then the next quarter you're going to move on to is the west. And here the element of water helps us to get into flow. It's all around creativity and it's around the emotional realm. So your emotional health sits in this quarter. And anything to do with trauma and expression of that and releasing trauma is really well suited to the West, where we learn to get into flow and release what no longer serves us. And finally, your last quarter, we're going to look at the South, and it's connected to the element of fire, and it's around transformation and power. And this is connected to our spirit or our soul. And there's a beautiful piece of work to do, and you'll have a lot of support as you work your way through the medicine wheel pathway and you do all of the courses involved, that you can start to explore some universal principles and identity, passion, purpose, and connecting in with something bigger than self. And that is however it looks to you. There is no doctrine, there is no set of rules, and there is no particular guidance other than supporting your exploration of what that means for you. Okay, so I'm going to play you a little video now, which will explain a little bit further the power of the medicine wheel. And as you're listening, I want you to write down in each of those quarters anything that comes up for you in terms of what you already do or what is really lacking, so we can start to assess which parts need the most attention. So what exactly is the medicine wheel? The medicine wheel is a sacred symbol used by various indigenous cultures. It's much more than just a pretty picture. It serves as a roadmap for achieving holistic well-being. Imagine it as a compass, pointing you in the direction of a balanced and fulfilling life. The power of the circle. The medicine wheel's circular shape is significant. It represents the circle of life, the interconnectedness of all things, and the cyclical nature of existence. Just as the seasons turn, so too do our lives ebb and flow. The centre, your grounding point. The centre of the medicine wheel symbolises your core essence, your true self. It's the place where your physical, mental, emotional and spiritual aspects converge. The 4 cardinal directions, a journey of exploration. The medicine wheel is typically divided into 4 quadrants, each representing a cardinal direction, east, north, west and south, and a corresponding aspect of your being. Traditionally, we start off in the east, the direction of the rising sun and new beginnings. We then typically move around in an anti-clockwise direction, grounding in the north, supporting creative flow and emotional release in the west, and setting up all of the foundations so we can move on to transform in the south. Let's take a tour through each direction, uncovering the wisdom it holds and how it connects to your holistic wellness. The East, air and the mental plane, the awakener. This direction places focus on the element of air and on the mental plane. Here we look at clarity of thought, fresh ideas, new beginnings and inspiration. The East represents the dawn, the rising sun, and the awakening of consciousness. Here, the air element fuels our mental agility and sharpens our focus and intuition. It's about clearing mental clutter, sparking creative solutions, and receiving fresh inspiration to embark on new beginnings. At Mojo School, courses and resources in the Mindset Mojo section relate to this area, supporting a top-down approach. Using up-to-date neuroscience information, cognitive behavioural therapy tools, neuro-linguistic programming and visualization techniques, you can access in-depth learning and a powerful toolkit to help you reframe your experiences and change the way you think, feel and behave. The north, earth and the physical plane, the grounder. This direction places focus on the element of earth and the physical plane. Here we explore stability, grounding, connections to our people, community and space. We also look at our physical health and honouring the body. The north represents the deep wisdom of the earth. Shamanic tribes work with earth offerings, ancestral rituals and body awareness techniques in this direction to strengthen our connection to the earth and our ancestors. The earth element here grounds us, providing a sense of stability and connection to the physical world. Honouring the body through movement, healthy eating and spending time in nature is also crucial in the north. Finding a sense of belonging in community further nourishes our sense of wholeness. Your Mojo courses and resources can be found in the somatic medicine section and include grounding techniques, working with the natural environment, movement, nutrition, and various somatic body-based therapies and tools. We also look at living sustainably and creating more harmony with our environment. The West, water and the emotional plane, the flow keeper. The West represents the setting sun and focuses on the element of water and the realm of emotions. The water element here signifies emotional fluidity and the power of intuition. Here we take a deep dive into our inner strength, emotional release, flow, intuition, forgiveness, and finding balance. Shamanic tribes use practices like water blessings, emotional release rituals, and nature connection in this direction to release pent-up emotions, practice forgiveness, and find inner peace. The West encourages us to surrender to the flow of life, navigate emotions with grace, and cultivate the inner strength needed for a balanced journey. At Mojo School, we work with creative practices in the release and flow section to unlock and empower ourselves, whether you feel that you are a creative person or not. Exploring various modalities for safe self-expression and gentle release of what no longer serves us can be found here. The South, fire and action, the transformer. This direction places focus on the element of fire and the spiritual or soul plane. Here we work on passion, transformation, shedding the old, taking action and connecting in with your soul purpose. The South embodies the midday sun, burning brightly with fiery passion and the drive for transformation. This direction aligns with the fire element, igniting our willpower and courage. Shamanic tribes use practices like fire ceremonies and shadow work to release what no longer serves us, limiting beliefs, negative emotions, or past traumas. In the South, we connect with the transformative fire of your soul, propelling you towards discovering your authentic self and taking inspired action. At Mojo School, you can find courses and resources in the energy medicine section. Here you will find tools to uncover your soul's blueprint, explore your identity, passion and purpose, and discover tools to help you connect in with subtle energy field such as vibrational sound therapy to help you make profound shifts in your life. Here's a little activity to get you started. Grab a pen and paper or your favourite note-taking app and take a moment to reflect on which direction resonates most with you right now. Is it a desire for clarity in the east, a need for grounding in the north, a yearning for emotional balance in the west, or a longing for transformation in the south. Jot down your thoughts on why this direction might be calling to you. As you embark on your mojo journey, you'll be creating your very own medicine wheel that reflects how you feel about the 4 directions and how they show up in your life. These initial notes will help you on your way. Now you have scratched the surface of what our medicine wheel framework has in store for you. Are you ready to dive in and take a walk around the 4 directions with me? Okay, beautiful. So we are moving along nicely in our first module of the medicine wheel pathway. We now have an idea of some of the labels and roles and responsibilities and some of the places that might be keeping you stuck. And you have a good concept of what the medicine wheel is and how that applies to you. And now you should have your own very first version of your medicine wheel so that you can start the process of unlocking some of the things that need healing. Now, the final part of today's workshop is to have a look at your life landscape. Now, this is a really incredibly powerful tool created by Mr. Anthony Willoughby, who you will see if you check out some of my podcast episodes. And this is a really good tool that I've used hundreds of times in many different spaces with many different kinds of people. And it's an incredible tool that you will find in the first course that I'm going to guide you to. But we're going to do a little version of that now. And another piece of paper, if you have one, and your pen. It's a good idea to introduce some colour at this point, but you have all the time in the world to embellish this and make it your own. And of course, when you do the actual course, you're going to be able to do a digital version and keep some notes on your own digital space on your dashboard. So I'm going to play you a video around the concept of territory mapping and the importance of actually planning out your own life landscape. It's a very person-centered, very personal approach to healing, and it will help you working with your labels, roles, and responsibilities that you already have noted down to work out exactly where your sticky bits are, otherwise known as your swamps. You'll be able to plan in your big blue sky thinking, your aspirations and your goals, which will be your mountains. And then we'll have a look at the rivers that will connect the spaces and places between, how your water flows, how your emotions flow, and how the journey might look. We're also going to explore your campfire, who or what sits around your campfire. And we're going to be able to broaden that out as we move along the journey. So take a look at this video. And while you are listening or watching, maybe you'll start to have a little think about what those icons look like for you. Your swamps, your mountains, your rivers, and your campfire. Today, we're going to do a spot of creative territory mapping or life landscaping. All you need is a piece of paper, a pen or pencil, and an open mind. Grab a drink and a quiet space, and maybe spend a few minutes breathing deeply to get in your creative flow. Now, imagine your life as a vast and unique landscape. Lush forests represent moments of growth, while rugged mountains symbolize big goals and aspirations. The muddy swamps show the areas in which you feel stuck, and the sparkling river reflects your emotional currents and direction of movement, ever changing and flowing. Now imagine mapping this landscape, charting the peaks and valleys, the fertile plains, the stubborn swamps, and the hidden pathways. This is the essence of our territory mapping activity. We'll guide you through creating a personalised map of your life's terrain. By identifying your resources, strengths, and potential obstacles, you'll gain a clearer picture of where you are and where you want to go. Welcome to this exciting creative journey. Territory mapping isn't just about drawing a pretty picture. It's a powerful tool for self-discovery and empowerment. You'll learn how to identify your resources, discover the internal and external tools that support you on your journey. You'll be able to chart your strengths, recognize the unique skills and qualities that make you who you are. You'll be able to navigate obstacles, identify potential challenges, and develop strategies to overcome them. Set clear goals. With a clearer picture of your landscape, set meaningful and achievable goals for the future. By mapping your life's territory, you'll gain the confidence and clarity to navigate your path with purpose. So, are you ready to embark on this exciting exploration? Let's map your unique life landscape together. I will give you the metaphors to include in your map, and you can add your creative flair and start with the symbolism that resonates with you the most. Are you overwhelmed with challenges and feeling so stuck at the moment that you can't see your way through the swamps? Let's start with that. How about your life's rivers, to identify the current and flow of movement that's showing up for you right now, whether emotional or physical? Do you feel inspired to start with your big bucket list goals and work back from there to chart your course to achieving them? Or maybe you feel called to work out who or what is around your campfire as support and resources for your starting point. Wherever you choose to focus your attention, the important thing is to simply make a start. Once you put pen to paper, the rest will start to flow. So let's jump in with the handy PDF guide coming next. Once you've done your basic territory map, feel free to develop it further by adding colour or embellishments. Let's go forth and create. Beautiful. It's one of my favourite things to do, and I used to do them quarterly. So once a quarter I do a new territory map, and now I do an annual one, unless I'm feeling particularly stuck and swampy, at which point I will get my pen and my pencils out on my paper and I'll do another territory map to plan out my new route. So hopefully by now you've had a little bit of thinking time and you've been able to start looking at things that matter the most to you and what your life landscape looks like. Now, you may have a huge big swamp with lots of swampy things in it, and that's okay. We can start step by step to move through some of those things, and we can help to build bridges or rafts or boats to get you across and down those rivers over into the new space where your mountains and your big goals lie. And along the way, we can build your toolkits and we can find out what or who, the people, the resources, the things you might need around your campfire to help those dreams to become reality. Now, please take some time and embellish out and draw your map out into more detail. The more detail you give it, the better, in my opinion. And when I give you the self-paced study at the end of this workshop, you're going to have a beautiful course specifically to help you through this whole process of orientation and finding your place to start. So please don't worry too much if you don't have time right now. There will be time when you move on to your Mojo Basecamp course. So now all that's left to do is for me to give you a little bit of guidance for your onward journey. Now you've started to identify some of the things that are coming up for you, keeping you stuck. You recognize that maybe you aren't the problem, but you need to identify what is. You've had a look at your own medicine wheel to discern the parts of yourself that might need a little bit more TLC. And you've created your own territory map. But what's a map without a passport? When you jump on your very first course, which is called Mojo Basecamp, you'll be able to access several different assessment tools to plot out where you are upon this starting point, including a deeper version of your territory map and your medicine wheel. You'll also be able to access your very own Mojo Wellness Passport. You can download that and it will give you a little bit of guidance as to how to work your way through this whole system. But of course, you're on the Medicine Wheel Pathway program, so you have me in real time to be able to do that for you as well. And when you finished your Basecamp course, you will automatically get your very first certificate and your first learner badge. So please feel free to share that on your socials, share it with me on the community group, and a huge well done in advance, because I know you're going to absolutely smash it. When you've completed your Basecamp and you have everything ready for your onward journey, you can meet me back on here for module 2, where we're going to start to move into the Eastern direction and look at all things mental health. Now, this is a great space and one of my personal favorites, where we start. The East represents fresh thinking. It's where the sun rises and it's the dawn of a new day and a new start. It's where we rise up and get a bird's eye view of what's going on, and we start to explore some of the concepts of neuroscience. But don't worry, I'm going to translate them into a language that anybody can understand. And we're going to look at some really cool things such as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change over time, which previously scientists didn't think was possible. Well, I hope you enjoyed those couple of little activities, some of the things that we do within the walls of Mojo School, and part of some of the courses, as you'll have heard me talk about then, in my Medicine Wheel framework. I would love to see you on there. So please feel free to click the link if you fancy joining me even deeper and taking a walk around the Medicine Wheel with me on this Medicine Wheel pathway. I'd love to see it in there and love to have you as part of my Mojo School community. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon on the next episode of The Art of Feeling Better. Bye for now.